I noticed that they were doing a public beta test live for performance, and that always interests me when it comes to Funcom because there are things, especially on PvP, that it's always needed optimization. It's kind of ironic that the optimization is coming out. But anyways, before we get into all that nonsense, I need to stay off the forums. I went to the forums to get the actual information so I could screen share, whatever. You get the idea. And then I see a post about someone talking about zero encumbrance. I'm just going to read this to you. Logged into US Test Live and noticed that my encumbrance was at zero. The accompanying screenshots show inventory screen 0% and the normal in-game view meter at 0%. But then says at the end, once I added something to my inventory, the encumbrance percentage corrected. If you scroll down, of course, there's community support asking asking what exact server this happened on. There's two big things about this. First off, you must not play the game very much. This has been a thing. If you take bestials, I'm sure any of you that have played Conan even just a couple hours out of the week, even whatever, you would have seen this happen. And then you like pull out a weapon or add something or move something in your inventory and it recorrects itself. This has been an ongoing thing. It's not even a big deal. It fixes itself in regards. Whatever. It's been a bug. But it's like this guy obviously doesn't play and he's posting over here like he found some gold. But then at the same time, you gotta wonder, Funcom doesn't even know what's going on with its own game because they should have already been aware of that issue. It's been happening for ages now. But anyways, let's get into the video. So this is why I went to the forums. I just like to pull it up on the browser. It just makes it easier for me, and then I can just screen record it, blah, blah, blah. But anyways, this whole thing, public beta client, Age of Sorcery performance patch. I want all of you to just take a moment to just laugh. Get the laughs out, okay? There's something that many of you and myself in my videos have preached about quite a bit. Maybe too much. Maybe I'm Bible thumping a little too much. But anyways, I have stated that you should try to fine tune your game before adding to it. You want your product to be flawless, at least to the best of your capability. There have been bugs and exploits that are still ongoing, and those things still yet to be addressed. And then you're going to release sorcery into the game. Anyone would have to think, out of all the people they have there, someone should have spoke up. We're going to name him Todd, okay? Todd spoke up in front of everyone and said, hey, shouldn't we fix our core game before we bring this to the live client, you know? And all they did was tell Todd to shut the fuck up. They said, shut up, Todd, because nobody wants to listen to reasonable Todd after all, because it makes sense. Funcom, I know, you're about making money. You're going to push it through because you want to make some dollars. I get it. You know, your business is a company, you want to make some money, but you're going to make more money if you make your game run great. It's just good business, like I've said before. But anyways, take the laughs with me. If you guys want to read these, great, blah, blah, blah. I've read through them. But the one thing I wanted to point out right here, exploit fixes. Exploiting in Conan has been something that's been going on forever for all you dedicated PvP official junkies out there. All of you have been crippled by this, maybe even have used it and dabbled in it. But their fix for exploit fixes updated the version of BattleEye. Don't worry, we're not going to have to worry about cheaters, exploiters, none of that stuff anymore. Because they updated BattleEye. Yep. That's going to fix it. I tell you what. You guys can laugh at that and enjoy it. I'll even give you a moment. When I read that for the exploit fixes, I've been playing on official for the last, 4, 6 months, whatever. And, you know, of course, cheaters came along. They're terrible at the game, and that's okay. That's why they probably cheat, because they're not very good. That's what I'm going to assume. I think that's the case for a lot of them. You know, you always need an unfair advantage when you just aren't very good at something. You know, that's why people cheat. But cheating and exploiting has been an issue forever, and that just goes back to, you know, these are things that you would think you want to go and address. I understand it's hard for them. The way they did their code, it's not very it's not very good. And any of you who have looked into it are probably extremely aware of how their code works for this game. But anyways, I was curious about this, but I feel like I got the little rant out of the way. Rip Todd in the comments below if you want to. Poor Todd, he's out there fighting for us, but they don't want to listen to them. I don't know if anyone named Todd actually works at Funcom. It's just a coincidence. I just like to name him Todd. I feel like Todd is the man of reason over there, and he's trying to make some sense, but they're like, nah, we need money. We're going to push that out, Todd. Well, you know what, Todd? To ease your mind, we'll even put it on the test live servers so people can test it out. And we'll still push it to the live, though, after time without actually addressing major things. But, oh, another thing I'm sure many of you are happy about, Yetis are now able to fight again. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Praise the day that Yetis can actually fight back now. You see gray foxes can now be damaged, blah, blah. All these things are, a lot of these bugs that need to be fixed, they're just so silly. They're so simple and silly. It's like, how do they even happen? You know, it's like, we're going to make a skin for the wolf. Okay, here you go. Look at it. It's a cute little fox. Sounds like a wolf though, but it's a fox. But we're not going to actually test the assets in game. Nope, we're just going to push it through and put it in the battle pass and get some money out of this. That's what we like. But anyways, we're going to go to the good part where I want to praise Funcom a little bit. So the first clip we're going to have right here, I'm going to have a timer up, and it's going to be me loading into single player. I know it's single player, blah, blah, blah. These are not professional tests. I'm not a scientist. Get off my back. But I just was curious if load times were going to be a bit different. Load times are important to people, especially when you got a beefy computer. You know, load times should be something you should be able to conquer quickly. And I wanted to test it on single player because I don't have a lot built on the beta or the actual game itself. So I started the timer right when I pressed start. So that way, you know, I'm trying to get as accurate as possible. And I know these are just light testing, but we're going to be about 15:19, which is not that bad. It's the initial loading. Everything's still happening and whatnot. We're going to bring it to the actual current version of the game right now that everyone is currently playing and can play. And you're going to notice we're going to take a bit longer to load in. I do not have much built on either of these single player servers. They are very minimal, maybe a couple altars and crafting stuff on a few. No extreme buildings or castles or pyramids or nonsense like that. So as you can see, 22, 23, there is quite a bit of a difference, you know, and those seconds, they add up over time. So thank you, Funcom, for trying to give me a few seconds back to my life. I do appreciate it out of all the time you have taken away from it. But this is what I was more curious about. Is something that affects me personally is bombs. And I know a lot of people have been complaining about bombs and the new lag, and they decided to implement this new fire mechanic that is just, it's cool looking, but I miss how my gas would interact with the fire before. But I will zoom in right here so you can see I am pushing my GPU. I am making sure it's working hard. And I wanted to see if I could hold 60 frames. And as you can see, I'm just spamming bombs. And with my frames capped at 60, I'm staying in the 50s. But over here on the current version that's out, my game's suffering. It's not having a good time. My graphics card is currently screaming at me to just stop the testing. But as you can see, my frames do not come back up like they did on the test live. So these two things alone make me extremely happy. How they will actually play out on a real server with buildings, I'm hesitant, but I feel like this will increase performance quite a bit. I am happy if I can have a solid 40 to 60 frames. I can get things done in that range, even PvP. But when it starts dropping into the 30s and 20s, you're going to really notice it, and it's going to hinder you quite a bit. But that's all I really wanted to test. That's all that was really important to me. And I hope you maybe found it interesting and informative to a degree. And remember, if you're not subscribed and you're returning to my videos again, just hit the subscribe button. Even if you don't like me, you can diss me in the comments. I'll banter back with you. Got no problem with it. But it really helps me out. And I will see you guys in the next one. And I look forward to hopefully Funcom continuing to, you know, fine tune their game a bit more. Still think it's ridiculous you didn't think about doing that before you reached Age of Sorcery, but I digress and I'm done. Goodbye.